have music for the defense. May I proceed?
You may.
Please introduce yourself to the jury, spelling your last name for the record.
Hi, my name is Terry Chapin. Chapin is spelled Chapin.
How are you involved in today's case?
Well, I was the next door neighbor to the Duran family and the Parks family, and I was in the Parks home on August 18th, 2010.
How did that day begin?
Well, usually I'm awoken to a really happy song on my alarm clock. But that morning, I was woken to a really loud bang that sounded coming from the Parks home. I thought it might have been a gunshot. So I got up. The night before was my friend's birthday, and I had a slight hangover, so I took some medicine, and I went to the Parks house.
What did you see when you got to the Parks house?
Well, I didn't want to go in right away in case it was a gunshot, so I looked through the window first. And I saw Sydney Park laying on the floor in a pool of blood. And I immediately called 911 and told them what I saw. And then I went to go inside the house to make sure she was okay.
Did you go inside the house?
Yes, I did. The door was unlocked, so I went in very carefully.
What did you see once you were inside the house?
I saw the TV was on the cartoon channel, and I saw Sydney just like I saw her through the window in blood. I felt negative energy in the room. I looked around and I saw Jesse Duran in the hallway on the phone. I walked up to Jesse and she hung up the phone.
How did Jesse's demeanor seem to you at that time?
Jesse seemed very blank-faced, deer in the headlights kind of thing. She didn't know what was going on, just very emotionless.
Did Jesse say anything to you?
No, she did not at that time. That's when I told her that we needed an ambulance, and she said, Sydney's dead. And I walked over to Sydney to check her vitals. I didn't want to touch the body, so I felt by her mouth to see if she was breathing, and I couldn't feel that she was breathing. That's when I noticed the revolver on the floor.
What happened after you saw the revolver on the floor?
I went to look at it, and Jesse said, don't touch the gun. This is when I got up, and I went to Jesse and I said, what happened? Are you okay? And this is when she completely just broke down in tears, crying, hysterics, saying that it was an accident, the gun wasn't supposed to go off, going on and on.
Objection hearsay.
Your Honor, this is not hearsay. Her statements are not asserting the truth of the matter. They are merely expressing the effect it had on the listener.
Your Honor, may I respond?
You may.
This is an out-of-court statement being offered for the truth of the matter.
Well, opposing counsel just said that it's not going for the truth of the matter, it has the effect on the listener. But I would ask you to hurry up and get to that effect, because right now it sounds a lot like hearsay.
What happened after that point?
Well, after Sydney was in the hysterics, that's when I heard the sirens outside, and I went and I saw the police cars pull up and the
Objection.
ambulance pull up.
Hearsay still.
Yes, I'm going to strike the last statements that she made regarding the statements of the child, as you have not tendered any effect that it had on this listener.
Your Honor, if I may, we are attempting to get to that point.
Well, it doesn't appear so. You're going to another event and you're not actually going on the effect those statements had on this listener. So unless you can do so, those statements are stricken and move on.
If I may proffer,
You may.
my witness is getting to the point at which she shall express the effect Jesse had on her through the events, her telling the officer what had occurred.
Your Honor, excuse me, sir. The effect on the listener means that how did this individual react to the direct statements in which that person heard? You have not done so, and now you're proffering that you're going to elicit how she responded to the police in the totality of the circumstances. That does not allow for effect on the listener. You need to show me how those statements directly made an effect on this witness, and if you cannot do so, they will be stricken.
Permission to confer with co-counsel?
You may.
Your Honor, pursuant to Rule 803, this is an exception to hearsay as it is referencing an excited utterance made by Jesse Duran after an extremely traumatic event.
There you go. Overruled.
For the jury's sake, Michelle, repeat the last question. What happened?
After Jessie told me not to touch the gun, I asked her what happened, and she was saying how she didn't mean for the gun to go off, they were playing a game, she was just crying, and that's when I heard the sirens outside. I went outside, I saw the ambulance pull up in the police cars, and I told the police everything that had happened that day.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Willie Rogers for the plaintiff, may I proceed?
Amen.
Good morning.
Hello.
Now, you were in the home on August 18th, 2010, Parksville,
In the Parks home, yes, sir.
and you saw a revolver on the floor,
Yes, I did.
and you saw Sydney lying on the floor,
Yes, she was bleeding.
and you checked her pulse,
Checked for her breathing, yes.
and she was not.
Not that I could tell, no.
And Jesse told you, I did this?
Yes, in her hysteria, yes, she did.
So Jesse admitted to the shooting of Sydney Park.
No, sir, she did not admit to me the shooting of Sydney Park. She just said, I did this, it was a game. I didn't know exactly what she meant by I did this. It might have been referring to Sydney.
No further questions,
Any redirect?
No redirect, Your Honor. I do ask that my witness is excused.
Witness is excused.